If you continue drinking your coffee black, you are missing a key opportunity to recover and strengthen the muscles in your legs. Coffee, as most people consume it, acts solely as a stimulant. It wakes up the nervous system, accelerates the pulse, and pushes the body to perform, but it does not provide the materials the body needs to repair or rebuild muscle tissue. I am Dr. Estevan Areaza, specialized in functional nutrition, muscle physiology, and sarcopenia prevention. The first thing you can add to your coffee to support leg muscle rebuilding is natural cinnamon. And it is not for fashion or flavor. It is because at a physiological level, cinnamon acts on one of the most silent problems that prevent leg muscle from repairing: poor glucose management and low-grade inflammation. When we talk about loss or difficulty recovering muscle in the legs, almost everyone thinks of lack of protein or aging. But in clinical practice, what I see again and again is something different. Muscles that receive energy irregularly, sugar spikes, sharp glucose drops, constant inflammation, and a confusing metabolic signal that tells the body to save instead of repair. In that context, even if you walk, climb stairs, or even train, the reconstruction signal does not reach the muscle cleanly. Natural cinnamon intervenes right there, not as a stimulant, not as an aggressive supplement, but as a metabolic regulator. Its active compounds, especially cinnamaldehyde and polyphenols, improve insulin sensitivity. Put simply, they help the sugar circulating in the blood enter the muscle cells more efficiently and stably, and the leg muscle, due to its size and function, is one of the main destinations for that energy. When a person drinks black coffee, coffee can cause a transient increase in cortisol. That is not bad in itself, but in people with chronic stress, little rest, or over 40 years old, that spike can momentarily block glucose entry into the muscle. The result is paradoxical. There is circulating energy, but the muscle does not use it well. By adding natural cinnamon, that effect is cushioned. The coffee stimulus is not eliminated, but it becomes more stable and more useful for muscle tissue. Another key point is inflammation. Muscle does not rebuild in an inflamed environment. Chronic low-grade inflammation, which does not hurt or cause fever, but is present in many sedentary or overweight people, directly interferes with protein synthesis. Cinnamon has a mild but constant anti-inflammatory effect. It does not act like a medication, but as a daily modulator that, over time, changes the internal terrain where the muscle tries to repair itself. Now, it is important to clarify something that often causes confusion. We are not talking about cinnamon with sugar, flavored syrups, or commercial powders loaded with additives. We are talking about natural cinnamon, ideally Ceylon cinnamon, in a small amount, a pinch, not a tablespoon. In this context, cinnamon is not used to sweeten, but to slightly reprogram the metabolic response of coffee. In consultation, I have seen a clear difference between people who drink black coffee and people who incorporate these simple adjustments. The latter report less feeling of heavy legs, less fatigue when walking, and a better response to gentle exercise. Not because cinnamon builds muscle directly, but because it removes obstacles. And in physiology, many times advancing means removing brakes rather than pressing the accelerator. Another little mentioned aspect is cinnamon's effect on peripheral circulation. Legs depend enormously on efficient microcirculation. If blood arrives with difficulty, the muscle does not receive enough oxygen or nutrients to repair itself. Cinnamon promotes mild vasodilation and improves blood flow. This is not felt as a rush, but as greater ease of movement over the days. The time of day also matters. Adding cinnamon to morning coffee has strategic sense. During the first hours of the day, the body decides where to invest its energy. If the signal is stable, the organism is more likely to use glucose for structural functions, such as maintaining and repairing muscle, instead of storing it as fat or wasting it in unnecessary spikes. In people who train legs or simply walk a lot, this difference accumulates over time. A common mistake is thinking that if something is good, more is better. With cinnamon, the opposite happens. High doses can irritate the stomach or produce the opposite effect. The key is consistency and the minimum effective amount. A small pinch in the coffee, mixed homogeneously, is enough to obtain the metabolic benefit without interfering with digestion or the nervous system. It is also important to understand that this first addition does not act in isolation. It is the base. It prepares the ground. It stabilizes the internal environment so that what comes next makes sense. If the metabolism is disordered, no other ingredient will work as it should. That is why we start here, not because it is the most powerful, but because it is the most fundamental. Over the days, many people notice something interesting: less morning stiffness in the legs, a greater sense of response to movement, and less accumulated tiredness. It is not magic, it is physiology working with fewer interferences. The muscle begins to receive clearer and more coherent signals. At this point, we have already created something important. A coffee that not only stimulates, but cooperates with the body. A coffee that stops being a simple habit and begins to become a tool. But for muscle rebuilding to be real and deep, we need to go beyond metabolic control. We need to provide structure, amino acids, and tissue support. Do you like cinnamon? Would you add it to your coffee? Tell me yes or no in the comments. After having stabilized the metabolic terrain with natural cinnamon, the next logical step is not to add something stronger, but something more basic and more forgotten, yet absolutely decisive for the leg muscle to function, activate, and recover correctly. That second element is a pinch of mineral salt. Talking about salt usually generates immediate resistance. For years, we have been told that salt is the enemy of health, and in excess, it is. But the real problem is not salt itself, but electrolyte imbalance. Muscle does not contract, relax, or repair with protein or exercise alone. It needs clear electrical signals, and those signals depend directly on minerals like sodium, potassium, and chlorine, which work together so that the nerve impulse reaches the muscle and returns to the central nervous system. When a person has difficulty recovering muscle mass in the legs, very often there is an underlying problem that is not detected in simple tests: functional cellular dehydration. The person drinks water, but the muscle cells do not retain it well. The result is a muscle that fatigues quickly, responds poorly to stimulus, and takes longer to recover. In that context, no nutrient reaches the interior of the muscle fiber efficiently. This is where mineral salt comes in a minimal, almost symbolic amount, but physiologically powerful. We are not talking about refined table salt, but a salt rich in minerals, such as unrefined sea salt or Himalayan salt. These salts contain traces of other minerals that help maintain osmotic balance inside the muscle cell. Adding a pinch of mineral salt to coffee may seem counterintuitive, but it makes sense when the mechanism is understood. Coffee by itself has a mild diuretic effect. In sensitive people, this can translate into additional electrolyte loss. By adding a small amount of mineral salt, that effect is compensated and a different signal is sent to the body. Retain, do not expel. This favors better intracellular hydration, especially in active tissues like the leg muscles. A well-hydrated muscle is a stronger, more elastic muscle that is more receptive to rebuilding. When the muscle fiber is hydrated, the enzymes involved in protein synthesis work better, contraction is more efficient, and recovery is faster. On the contrary, a slightly dehydrated muscle enters defensive mode. It becomes rigid, less efficient, and more prone to fatigue. Another key aspect is nerve conduction. Every step you take, Every time you climb stairs, every time you get up from a chair depends on an electrical signal that travels from the brain to the leg muscle. That signal needs sodium to propagate. Without enough sodium available at the cellular level, the signal arrives weakened. The muscle responds late or incompletely. In the long term, this translates into less muscle activation and therefore less reconstruction stimulus. In clinical practice, this is observed in people who feel that their legs do not respond the same, who tire quickly, or who feel weakness without a clear cause. Many times it is not real lack of strength, but lack of signal, and the signal depends on minerals. The key, and this is fundamental, is in the amount. It is not about salting the coffee until it tastes salty. It is about a minimal pinch, almost imperceptible to taste, whose function is not sensory but physiological. That small amount is enough to support electrolyte balance without generating fluid retention or increasing blood pressure in healthy people. In addition, when mineral salt is combined with the regulatory effect of cinnamon that we already saw, a much more favorable environment for the muscle is created. Cinnamon improves glucose entry into the cell. Mineral salt helps that glucose, along with water, stay inside the muscle cell long enough to be used. It is a complementary, not redundant relationship. There is another less obvious but equally important benefit. Mineral salt helps reduce cramps and neuromuscular fatigue. Many people who try to strengthen their legs experience nighttime cramps or tightness. This is not always lack of magnesium, as is often thought, but an imbalance between sodium and other electrolytes. Correcting that imbalance from the morning has an accumulative impact throughout the day. The moment of consumption also matters. By adding the pinch of salt to morning coffee, a different starting point is established for the nervous and muscular system. The body enters the day with a signal of stability, not loss. This is especially useful in people who walk a lot, work standing, or perform physical activity with their legs during the day. A common mistake is thinking that salt only serves to give flavor, or that its only effect is to retain fluids. In reality, in the right context and adequate dose, mineral salt acts as a fine regulator of muscle performance. It does not build muscle directly, but without it, the muscle cannot express itself or repair optimally. It is also important to clarify that this step does not replace good hydration. On the contrary, it enhances it. Water, without minerals, hydrates superficially. Water with adequate mineral balance hydrates deeply, and the leg muscle, due to its size and demand, is one of the tissues that benefits most from that deep hydration. Over the days, many people notice that their legs feel less heavy, that fatigue takes longer to appear, and that recovery after effort is faster. It is not an immediate or stimulating effect. It is a silent but solid change at the base of muscle function. And if you did not know this about mineral salt, it is because you are not part of our community. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any video. After seeing how cinnamon activates metabolism and how a pinch of mineral salt prepares the electrolytic and neuromuscular terrain, now is the time to talk about a compound that many know for its fame in the sports world, L-carnitine. And here it is key to understand that it is not a magical ingredient by itself, but that it works synergistically when combined with coffee, movement, and adequate nutrition. L-carnitine is an amino acid that the body mainly uses to transport long-chain fatty acids to the mitochondria, which are the energy powerhouses of our cells. This means it helps the energy obtained from fat reach the muscle directly, improving endurance and recovery. For the legs, this has a direct and notable effect. The lower body muscles are the largest and most demanding in the body. Quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves require a constant energy supply to contract correctly and recover after effort. L-carnitine facilitates that energy being available more quickly and efficiently, which translates into less muscle fatigue, greater sustained strength, and better protein synthesis after exercise. The science behind this is solid. Several studies have shown that L-carnitine supplementation can reduce training-induced muscle damage and accelerate muscle fiber recovery, especially in people who perform endurance or high-intensity exercises. The most effective way to take L-carnitine with coffee is in low doses, enough to activate fat metabolism without overloading the digestive system or altering the absorption of other nutrients. The general recommendation ranges from 500 to 1,000 milligrams per dose, ideally combined with a small source of carbohydrates if the coffee is consumed before training, since mild insulin facilitates L-carnitine entry into muscle cells. This turns coffee into a metabolic vehicle that enhances energy delivery to the large leg muscles. Another important benefit of L-carnitine is its indirect antioxidant capacity. During exercise, muscles produce free radicals that, in excess, can damage muscle fibers and delay recovery. L-carnitine is not a traditional antioxidant, but by improving energy metabolism, it reduces the accumulation of toxic byproducts in cells, allowing muscles to repair more efficiently and rebuild more quickly. This is fundamental for those seeking not only to maintain muscle mass, but to increase it in a functional and lasting way. It is important to mention that L-carnitine works best when the body has sufficient micronutrients and electrolytes available, which is exactly what we achieve with the previous steps. Cinnamon activating the metabolic response and mineral salt, balancing the nervous system and cellular hydration. Without this base, L-carnitine loses part of its effectiveness, and many may think it does not work for them, when in reality they only need to prepare their body better to take advantage of it. The way it is consumed also influences its effectiveness. L-carnitine in powder or rapid-release capsules is ideal to combine with coffee because it dissolves or absorbs almost immediately. If opting for the liquid version, simply add it directly to the drink, ensuring it is well mixed and consumed fresh to maintain its metabolic activity intact. From a practical point of view, this combination has a double effect. It increases available energy for intense training and improves nocturnal muscle recovery, resulting in firmer, more powerful, and more resistant legs over time. L-carnitine not only mobilizes energy, it also optimizes fat utilization, which is especially valuable for people who want to gain muscle functionally without accumulating unnecessary fat. In addition, L-carnitine plays an important role in vascular health, as it improves blood flow and muscle oxygenation. This means that during leg muscle contraction, each fiber receives more oxygen and nutrients, accelerating the repair of micro tears and promoting more efficient growth. A well-irrigated leg recovers faster and is less prone to cramps, post-training pain, and heaviness. A common mistake is thinking that any type of L-carnitine works the same. The most recommended form to combine with coffee is L-carnitine, L-tartrate, or acetyl L-carnitine, as these have faster and more direct absorption toward the muscle, unlike other forms that are first metabolized in the liver. This ensures that the muscle receives the active compound just when it needs it most, especially if consumed before morning exercise. L-carnitine in coffee acts as a direct metabolic booster for the legs, facilitating optimal energy use by large muscles, reducing fatigue, and accelerating recovery. It works together with the base we already built, metabolic activation with cinnamon and electrolyte balance with mineral salt. This combination is simple, natural, evidence-based, and marks a before and after in lower body muscle reconstruction. Now is the time to talk about a fundamental mineral, magnesium, in its glycinate or malate forms. And the first thing we must be clear about is that magnesium is not just another supplement. It is a key element for muscle contraction and relaxation, protein synthesis, and cellular energy production, all in conjunction with well-prepared coffee and the correct doses. Magnesium acts as a cofactor in more than 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body. This includes critical functions such as the production of adenosine triphosphate, the energy molecule that fuels every muscle contraction, and the regulation of calcium in muscle cells, which is essential to avoid cramps and stiffness. For the legs, which contain the largest and most demanding muscles in the body, this is a determining factor. Without adequate magnesium intake, post-training recovery is slower, and muscles do not manage to rebuild optimally. When we talk about magnesium glycinate or malate forms, we are referring to highly bioavailable versions, meaning the body absorbs them efficiently without generating gastrointestinal discomfort, something that can happen with other forms like magnesium oxide. Glycinate is known for its ability to promote muscle and nervous relaxation, while malate has an additional effect on cellular energy production, especially in large muscles subjected to constant effort, such as quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves. In combination with coffee, magnesium offers a very interesting synergistic effect. While caffeine increases blood flow, alertness, and neuromuscular activation, magnesium ensures that electrical impulses reach each muscle fiber correctly and that contraction occurs efficiently. This means that when we perform squats, lunges, or any leg exercise, each muscle receives the correct signal and the necessary energy to move and recover. Additionally, magnesium helps regulate nervous excitability, preventing muscles from becoming overly tense and producing less fatigue during and after training. Another key point is magnesium's role in protein synthesis, a fundamental process for rebuilding the muscle fibers that tear during exercise. The legs, being large muscles, require more protein to regenerate and grow. Magnesium activates several enzymes involved in building new muscle proteins, facilitating recovery and the increase of functional muscle mass. Without this mineral, even with sufficient protein in the diet, the body cannot synthesize muscle efficiently. The recommended dose to make the most of magnesium in this context is usually between 200 and 400 milligrams per day, depending on each person's weight, physical activity, and diet. It can be added directly to coffee, especially in its powdered glycinate form, ensuring it dissolves completely. Taken before training, it provides energy and neuromuscular coordination. Taken after training, it helps with muscle relaxation and nighttime recovery. Magnesium also plays a critical role in reducing cramps and muscle soreness. When leg muscles work intensely, especially in strength or endurance exercises, an electrolyte imbalance occurs, along with an increase in calcium inside muscle cells. This causes involuntary contractions, twitches, and a feeling of stiffness. Magnesium regulates this calcium, ensuring muscles relax properly after each contraction, which facilitates not only recovery but also the building of healthy muscle fibers. An additional advantage of combining magnesium with coffee is improved absorption and transport of nutrients to active muscles. Caffeine acts as a circulatory stimulant, increasing blood flow to tissues and allowing magnesium, along with other nutrients like L-carnitine, to reach the muscle exactly when it needs it most. This turns coffee into a perfect vehicle for enhancing natural and efficient muscle rebuilding. It is important not to underestimate the relationship between magnesium and sleep. This mineral contributes to relaxation of the central nervous system, helping achieve deeper and more restorative sleep. During deep sleep phases, most muscle recovery and protein synthesis occur. Therefore, taking magnesium in the afternoon or evening, especially combined with decaffeinated coffee if preferred, can significantly improve the results of any leg routine, ensuring muscles rebuild optimally while we rest. A common mistake is consuming magnesium in excess or in poorly absorbable forms. Magnesium oxide, for example, can cause diarrhea or gastrointestinal discomfort, affecting hydration and muscle energy. In contrast, glycinate and malate are gentle on the stomach and allow maximum absorption, ensuring the mineral reaches the muscles without side effects. Additionally, it is essential to maintain adequate hydration when consuming magnesium, since water is necessary for muscles to use this mineral correctly in contraction and recovery. From a functional perspective, including magnesium in coffee is a strategic step for those seeking to improve leg strength, endurance, and recovery, as it complements the effects of the previous ingredients. Cinnamon that activates metabolism, mineral salt that maintains electrolyte balance, and L-carnitine that optimizes fat and energy use. Each ingredient has a unique role, but magnesium is the one that ensures the entire muscular system functions correctly, preventing injuries, fatigue, and muscle mass loss. Magnesium in its glycinate or malate forms is an indispensable ally for anyone looking to rebuild and strengthen their legs effectively. It not only enhances muscle contraction and relaxation, but also facilitates protein synthesis, regulates electrolytes, and improves post-training recovery. Combined with coffee, it acts as an efficient delivery vehicle, ensuring every muscle fiber receives exactly what it needs to rebuild and grow. Tell us in the comments how you like your coffee and whether you would add any of these ingredients to help rebuild your leg muscles. After discovering magnesium's fundamental role in muscle contraction, relaxation, and protein synthesis, now is the time to talk about an ingredient that works in a complementary way, reinforcing tissue structure and helping every movement be stronger and safer: unflavored hydrolyzed collagen. This ingredient has not only become popular in the sports nutrition world, but also has solid scientific backing that makes it an indispensable ally for rebuilding muscles, tendons, and ligaments, especially in the legs, where load and demand are maximum. Collagen is the most abundant structural protein in the body, present in bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, and cartilage. As we age or train intensely, natural collagen production decreases, which can result in slow recovery, joint stiffness, and increased injury risk. Hydrolyzed collagen, thanks to its processing into smaller peptides, is easy to digest and absorb, allowing the body to use it quickly to repair and strengthen tissues damaged during training. When added to coffee, collagen not only becomes a practical and convenient supplement, but also enhances the effects of the other ingredients we have already discussed. For example, magnesium optimizes muscle contraction and relaxation. L-carnitine transports energy to the fibers, and now collagen ensures that the structures supporting those fibers, tendons, ligaments, and connective tissue are strong and resilient. This is crucial in leg exercises such as deep squats, lunges, or leg press, where tendons and ligaments must withstand considerable loads without risk of injury. The mechanism of action of hydrolyzed collagen is fascinating. When consumed, collagen peptides stimulate endogenous production of collagen and other connective tissue components, such as elastin and hyaluronic acid. This means it is not only providing collagen directly, but also signaling the body to regenerate its own fibers and structures efficiently. In the case of the legs, this translates into greater joint stability, less post-training pain, and faster recovery that allows training more frequently without compromising joint health. Additionally, hydrolyzed collagen has an indirect role in muscle strength and endurance. Recent studies have shown that when combined with strength training, collagen supplements can increase muscle mass, improve bone density, and reduce muscle fatigue. This happens because stronger and more flexible connective tissue allows muscles to work more efficiently, transmitting force more effectively and supporting heavier loads without risk of micro-injuries. For this reason, including collagen in your daily coffee before or after training is a simple but extremely effective strategy. Another advantage of unflavored hydrolyzed collagen is its versatility and ease of integration into the diet. It does not alter the taste of coffee and dissolves easily, allowing daily consumption without complications. The recommended dose is usually between 10 and 20 grams per day, ideally divided between morning and post-training, ensuring tissues receive the necessary amino acids when they need them most. These amino acids include glycine, proline, and lysine, which are essential for collagen formation and maintaining the structural integrity of muscles and joints. Furthermore, collagen has a beneficial effect on the recovery of muscle micro-tears, something common after intense leg workouts. During muscle contraction, fibers suffer small ruptures that, when repaired, cause growth and strengthening. Without adequate collagen support, these micro-injuries can take longer to heal or generate persistent inflammation, limiting progress. With hydrolyzed collagen, the body receives the building blocks it needs to rebuild fibers and connective tissue faster and more efficiently. An important point is that collagen works best in combination with other nutrients and physical stimuli, which in our case are already present. L-carnitine provides energy to muscle fibers, magnesium facilitates contraction and relaxation, and collagen ensures muscles not only grow but have structural support. This synergy allows legs to strengthen comprehensively. Strength, endurance, recovery, and joint protection work together instead of depending on a single supplement or ingredient. Collagen consumption also has benefits in long-term injury prevention. Athletes and active people know that legs are especially susceptible to tendinitis, sprains, and tears. Including hydrolyzed collagen helps keep tendons and ligaments flexible, resilient, and less prone to damage from overload or sudden movements. In other words, while muscles rebuild and grow, the connective tissues that support them strengthen, creating a complete and balanced system. A common mistake is thinking that any type of protein serves this purpose. Hydrolyzed collagen does not replace whey or plant protein that provides essential amino acids for muscle mass. Rather, it complements traditional protein, providing specific amino acids for connective tissue. That is why integrating it into coffee is a practical way to ensure every meal and every drink helps both muscles and tendons, ligaments, and joints, especially in the legs, which are the body's most demanding muscles. The consumption recommendation is simple. 1 tablespoon of unflavored hydrolyzed collagen in your daily coffee, preferably in the morning or immediately after training. The key is consistency. Collagen acts as an accumulative process, strengthening tissues day by day and ensuring leg muscles can rebuild, grow, and be supported optimally. Now it is time to introduce another powerful ingredient that, although small in quantity, can generate great effects: pure, unsweetened cocoa. We are not talking about processed chocolate or sugary versions found in stores. We refer to 100% natural cocoa powder without additives, which is a concentrated source of bioactive compounds that support both muscle recovery and blood circulation. Pure cocoa is rich in flavonoids, natural antioxidants that help reduce oxidative stress generated by intense training. When we work the legs, especially with endurance or strength exercises, muscles produce free radicals as part of their metabolic activity. If these free radicals are not controlled, they can cause inflammation, prolonged muscle soreness, and delay recovery. This is where cocoa's flavonoids come into action. They neutralize free radicals, protecting muscle fibers and connective tissue, and reducing cellular damage that occurs after training. In addition to its antioxidant effect, pure cocoa has compounds that improve blood circulation, such as epicatechin. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients reach muscles during and after exercise, translating into faster recovery, less fatigue, and optimal support for leg muscle rebuilding. This effect also combines with the previous benefits of collagen and magnesium, creating an ideal environment for muscle fibers and tendons to regenerate without interruptions. Pure cocoa also has a mild but significant effect on insulin sensitivity and energy metabolism. Flavonoids help regulate blood glucose levels and the way muscle cells absorb energy, allowing better utilization of carbohydrates consumed before or after training. This is crucial for legs because large muscles like quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes need sufficient energy to work intensely and rebuild after physical activity. A little-known aspect of cocoa is its ability to increase nitric oxide production, which dilates blood vessels and improves blood flow to active muscles. When combined with the effects of magnesium and L-carnitine, nutrient and oxygen delivery is enhanced, allowing muscles not only to repair faster, but also to grow more efficiently. This combination of antioxidants, vasodilation, and energy regulation turns pure cocoa into a surprisingly powerful ally for leg muscle rebuilding. Pure cocoa also has an indirect effect on reducing post-training inflammation, which is key to preventing pain and stiffness. Flavonoids and other phenolic compounds modulate the inflammatory response, helping muscles relax and recover without losing tone or contraction capacity. This is especially useful after heavy leg workouts, where inflammation can limit mobility, increase fatigue, and reduce the effectiveness of the next training session. To integrate it into coffee, the dose should be minimal but constant, generally between half and 1 teaspoon of pure cocoa powder per cup, enough to take advantage of its antioxidant and circulatory benefits without affecting the taste of the drink. This amount is sufficient for bioactive compounds to circulate in the bloodstream, especially if consumed together with the protein and collagen we have already incorporated in previous sections. Cocoa also has the advantage of being versatile and safe, even for people sensitive to stimulants. Unlike chocolate with added sugar or milk, pure cocoa does not significantly alter glucose levels and does not cause insulin spikes. This makes it ideal for those seeking to rebuild muscle without compromising body composition or adding empty calories. It is important to highlight that pure cocoa works best in combination with the other ingredients, not as an isolated supplement. The synergy with magnesium, L-carnitine, and collagen ensures muscles receive structural support, sufficient energy, and antioxidant protection. The result is faster recovery, less post-training pain, and stronger, more resilient leg muscles, capable of supporting progressive loads without injury risk. The optimal consumption timing is also relevant. Taking coffee with pure cocoa after training, or even in the morning if training later, allows bioactive compounds to act during the critical hours of muscle repair. This maximizes nutrient and antioxidant delivery to muscle fibers while the body is in an active recovery state, ensuring every training session has the greatest possible impact. Additionally, cocoa has a positive psychological effect. Studies have shown that flavonoids can improve mood and concentration, translating into greater focus during training and an overall sense of well-being. This is an extra benefit because leg training can be physically demanding and mentally challenging, especially during intense or long routines. A frequent mistake is using cocoa with sugar, syrups, or processed chocolate. These products not only lack the concentrated flavonoids present in pure cocoa, but can also counteract positive effects by increasing inflammation and adding unnecessary calories. That is why cocoa must be 100% pure and sugar-free, to truly provide the benefits we seek for rebuilding leg muscles. Now I will tell you about glycine powder. We are not talking about an exotic or hard-to-find supplement. Glycine is a non-essential amino acid that the body uses fundamentally in protein synthesis, collagen production, and muscle tissue regeneration. Adding glycine to coffee is not only safe, but also enhances the action of all the nutrients we have already included, from collagen to cocoa, creating an ideal environment for rebuilding leg muscles. Glycine is mainly known for its role in collagen production, the most abundant protein in the human body, which forms tendons, ligaments, skin, and the matrix that surrounds and supports muscles. Although we have already introduced hydrolyzed collagen as a previous ingredient, adding glycine enhances your body's ability to reuse and synthesize collagen efficiently, ensuring leg muscles not only grow, but are also supported by strong and flexible connective structure. This is crucial because many recovery problems and injuries occur not in the muscle itself, but in the tissues that connect and support it, such as tendons and fascia. Another highlighted aspect of glycine is its role in natural creatine production and adenosine triphosphate, the main energy source for muscle contractions. During strength training, such as squats, lunges, or deadlifts, leg muscle fibers require short bursts of intense energy. Glycine contributes to creatine formation in the body, which is stored in muscles and used to rapidly regenerate adenosine triphosphate during these efforts. This means your muscles can work longer and with greater intensity, translating into a stronger stimulus for hypertrophy and rebuilding. Glycine also has a protective effect on the nervous system and muscle signaling. It acts as an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain and spinal cord, helping regulate neuromuscular excitability. This is especially important during training, as proper control of nerve impulses prevents excessive contractions, cramps, and premature fatigue. In other words, it not only allows muscles to rebuild, but also improves training efficiency and safety, something fundamental when working with large muscles like those in the legs. In practical supplementation terms, glycine powder is easy to obtain and economical. It can be purchased in sports nutrition stores, supplement pharmacies, or even online platforms, always looking for pure versions without additives. The recommended dose to support muscle rebuilding and collagen is usually between 3 and 5 grams per serving, mixed directly into your post-training coffee or even your morning drink if you train later. The taste is slightly sweet and mild, so it does not significantly alter the flavor of coffee, but allows bioactive compounds to act directly in your body. An additional benefit of glycine is its systemic anti-inflammatory effect. It acts by modulating inflammatory cytokines, reducing low-grade chronic inflammation that can delay muscle recovery. When we train legs intensely, not only do muscles suffer micro tears, but temporary inflammation is also activated, which, if not regulated, can prolong pain and limit mobility. Glycine helps balance this inflammatory response, ensuring faster recovery and that each training session has optimal impact. Another key point is its influence on sleep quality. Glycine has been shown to improve deep sleep efficiency, the phase where most muscle recovery occurs, since fiber rebuilding and protein synthesis are highly dependent on restorative sleep. Adding glycine to coffee in small amounts, especially if consumed in the afternoon or pre-training, can have a positive indirect effect on nighttime recovery, helping consolidate leg muscle growth. The combination of glycine with cocoa, collagen, and magnesium creates a powerful synergy. Each of these ingredients acts on different fronts. Collagen provides structure. Magnesium regulates contraction and relaxation. Cocoa improves blood flow and protects fibers, and glycine ensures the entire protein synthesis and regeneration process is efficient and complete. This integration allows leg muscles not only to recover faster, but also to strengthen progressively and sustainably, reducing injury risk and improving overall endurance. A common mistake is underestimating dose and frequency. To obtain full benefits, glycine must be consumed consistently, not occasionally. Integrating it into your daily or pre-training coffee ensures stable blood levels, allowing protein synthesis and muscle regeneration to occur continuously, maximizing every training session. It is worth noting that glycine is not only useful for the legs, but also improves joint health and connective tissues throughout the body, contributing to more efficient overall performance and long-term injury prevention. When muscles, tendons, and ligaments are well nourished, mobility improves, strength increases, and the feeling of fatigue decreases significantly. And if you do not want all this information to be completely useless, I invite you to watch the next video. The content of this channel uses characters for educational and informational purposes, based on public sources, studies, and general research. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or replace professional medical recommendations. Every person is different. Always consult with your trusted doctor before applying any advice related to health, nutrition, supplements, or exercise.